You're listening to Lighthouse Conversations, brought to you by Lighthouse Haven, a spiritual home for your awakening soul. Lighthouse Conversations is a show where awakening souls gather to be inspired, connected, and enlightened. Spiritual spark plug and host Chelly Canales, that's me, will guide you through the twists and turns of your journey to a safe haven where you are finally free to live your best light. Each episode contains a conversation with a guest who has gone through a spiritual awakening, detailing their unique and life-changing experiences in an intimate and candid way. Although everyone's experience is as unique as they are, we all share one common thread. We're all seeking something. So, come join us on this journey and be prepared to leave with resources that will supercharge you into inspired action. Here's today's episode. Hello, awakening souls. How is your sweet soul doing right now? The world is a little topsy-turvy, a little crazy. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the upside down and I'm like, is this real life? And it is, guys. This is what we're going through. There's a lot of panic, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and understandably so. There's so much uncertainty, and at every new corner we turn, we find something else to be afraid of. I mean, Tom Hanks has coronavirus. Like, what is happening? All I can tell you is that self-care during this time is most important. Yes, do all the things. Wash your hands. Be careful of, touching surfaces that might be contaminated. Lysol, everything, of course. But take some time to clear all of the energy that doesn't belong to you. I want to help with this. In the next day or so on this podcast, I'm going to release a guided meditation for you to get back into a space of feeling calm, of feeling loved, of feeling held and secure. And even if we can do this for a few minutes a day, it's going to help dramatically with how we handle each day. So I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that love is ever present and strong, and the people all around you, they feel it too, even if it's not as, visible as normal. It's replaced by different emotions. But just take the time to connect to your fellow person. If you're speaking with someone, look them in the eye. Let them know that you see the humanity in them and that we're more than just this moment. We're going to get through this. In the meantime, I want you to enjoy this wonderful episode with Barbara Brooks and Lupe Hirt, two incredible women, second act women, if you will, who identified, I guess you could say, a problem they were running into as being in their 40s and 50s. They were running into ageism in terms of getting hired, a variety of reasons why they were not able to jump into the workplace in a really full capacity. So they identified this. They created a whole group, a sisterhood, if you will, to help women who are going through these challenges to band together, have resources, have community, and show up strong, because we have so much to give in this age group. It's so silly to think that people think when you're of a certain age, you're not able to contribute as much anymore. I think that's ridiculous. I believe in the wisdom of it, and I believe that what people traditionally have thought of at a certain age, how we show up, how we look, how we the things we like, the way we're advertised to, it's very different than the actual women in this age bracket rocking their lives. I think you will find an amazing conversation here with Lupe and Barbara, and I want you to understand as well that they're incredible. They had an incredible workshop scheduled for South by Southwest. Like, what an accomplishment it is to be selected. And they received the news that the whole festival had been canceled because of the coronavirus. So what did they do? They still took the bull by the horns, and they're doing that very same event this weekend, and I'm so proud of them. So please take a listen and take care of yourself. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the show, Lupe and Barbara. I'm so delighted that you're here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
My pleasure. I've actually been hearing a lot about your work even before I met you that day. So on several occasions, I thought, I need to search this out. I need to look more at that. And we're going to talk more about this later in the show, about how you two have become champions for women in their 40s and their 50s and up who are ready to just rock their lives and rock their careers. So I can't wait to hear about how you got on that journey. Barbara, do you want to start out and tell us a little bit about your awakening journey and what brought you to this point in time?
Well, what brought me to this point in time to create Second Act Women is facing ageism at 51 when I was aggressively trying to go back to corporate America and couldn't find a job. At the time, I actually didn't believe it was ageism, nor did I even think it was. So it never entered my mind that it could be my age. Instead, I just thought, well, they must be right. It must be that I'm either over experienced or under experienced for the position. So let me just keep banging away at finding a job. Couldn't find anything, and so I took an idea off the shelf that had been on the shelf for 5 years, and that was to create a Women's Business Week. And so I poured all of my heart and soul into that project and first began with a brainstorm session. And as I'm storming, so to speak, with these women, I started hearing the same story, and then I started recognizing what may have happened to me is happening to women all across the United States and probably globally. And that is that age has stopped us from, and it's just a number, it's just a level. Somehow that has stopped us from finding our next career, pivoting, getting promoted, staying hired, getting VC money, being supported in growing your business and starting up, just all of that. We are the victims, as much as I hate to say, of a number or two or three.
And it's
simply
amazing.
By being 40 plus.
It's incredible how you say, yes, we are victims of this, but then there's a way to stop and say, okay, I guess that's it. I guess I'm a victim of this, but that's not the path that the both of you have taken.
Not at all.
You said, no, we're not going to be a victim to this.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Instead, we decided we were going to do something about it. And that's how eventually Lupe and I came up with Second Act Women. And first it was going to start out as a event company where we were going to provide really wonderful business events to help women in corporate America and those women that had businesses or were starting up, and it was just to provide resources and sessions and panels and all those things that you see at your traditional conference. And we held our first conference, and sure enough, we started hearing again a lot more. And as marketers and public relations specialists, we are listening to our customers, so to speak, and we're hearing that there's an even bigger problem. And so let's talk about business, life, and ageism being the umbrella over all of that. And how can we re-script our internal feelings about our age and externally provide some sort of public advocacy through what we're doing.
That's huge, because a lot of times when we think I have this feeling, this passion, this desire to make change, but if I don't change myself, I don't know how that's possible to do. You have to look inside
You
first.
absolutely have to do that. That's what happened to us. I mean, we took a big leap of faith, jumped over, as I like to say, fear, and decided, okay, let's do this. I'm going to put everything aside and take a couple of side hustles to get by, of course, and move on this mission, or as we like to say now, a movement, to erase ageism and let corporate America and really society know that, again, just because I personally am sitting at 53, Lupe's 46, why should that stop us from getting hired? Since when is that a problem? If anything, it should be a benefit to an organization, because there's something so powerful in having an intergenerational team. The productivity goes up, hence the bottom line goes up. Yet there's this perception that we're not tech savvy, or that we're not ambitious enough, or that we don't have the appetite to continue to grow, when it's quite the opposite on all counts. Quite the opposite.
And yeah, that experience speaks to so many things that are valuable over time versus a detriment. And Lupe, I want to hear about your journey to getting to this point.
Yeah, so very much the same as Barbara. I was in a passion project for about 5 years, and it was something that I had pursued that had personally fulfilled me for that many years. And it was a point in time where I got to a juncture in that pursuit where I realized that was no longer going to be my forever job. That I needed, I outgrew it, and there was a point in time where I decided I needed to do something different. And so at the time, kind of similar to what Barb went through, I started to say, hey, you know what, I just want a steady paycheck. And I started to send out the resumes, kind of hit the resume grind, 30, 40 resumes in, and same thing, like, whoa, what's going on? We've got the experience. We know we're qualified. We know this, that, and it's just, we're not hitting the mark. And at the time, I had committed 20%, a whole 20% to Barb, and said, I love what you're doing.
Damn her.
You piqued my curiosity. I want to help you, but because I was on this other passion project, I couldn't do, any more than that. And as I kind of transitioned fully out of this other project and started to experience what she was trying to rally against, I started to just have even a greater respect and affiliation, both mentally and from a career point, that what she was doing was going to change lives. And in fact, it was something that we ourselves could benefit from as being the catalyst to kind of creating this conversation and helping other women that were in our similar shoes have a community to depend on. And so I kind of said, hey, can I do more than 20? Can I step it up a little bit more? And being previous business owners together, it was just a natural synergy. And so it was kind of a really cool opportunity when I came in February of last year to kind of start to really help hash out everything a little bit more so.
And it's interesting, you said, I was on board with what she was against, but truly what I see from both of you is what you are for
Yes.
so strongly.
Yes.
What are your values in this? Like, what are you for that you would shout from the rooftops, and what you love and value and you would do for free, even, maybe, I don't know if you do it for free, but like, it's the type of thing when you show up in life and say, I'm taking a stand for this. What is that?
It's this, because we are working for free right now.
Right? It has to build.
Yes, we have not taken
Yeah.
home any income whatsoever, because this is it. This is our purpose. This is what the Lord said to me
Yes.
at some point. This is what I need to do. This is after me again, looking internally, and I'm still working on myself, mind you. A lot of us are, but that's the thrill of it. Once you hit, it feels like your 40s and 50s. You're willing to take a leap and continue to learn more. There's this thirst that is unwavering, and so for me, this is my purpose, my passion. Literally, we sat in the office just the other day hashing out, okay, what is the income and expenses? Because right now the expenses far outweigh the income. However, we are businesswomen. We recognize that there will be a reward at the end, but right now our biggest reward and our always reward would be the lives that we're changing, first and foremost. So over the last year and a half, since July 2018, and here it is January 2020, we have put 100% into it. And I know people say you can't say 110%, but we've put 110%.
This is my show. You
into
can say
this.
whatever you want.
This is
Love
I'm
that.
with you,
Love that.
110%.
Yeah.
right.
Because
this
you
is
are
what we've
giving
been
more.
doing for
Yeah.
free
Yeah, I mean,
and taking in expenses. But again, it is worthy of our time. These women are worthy. We are fighting for them. They are fighting for themselves. They have jumped on board and are a part of this. So it's not just Lupe and I. We just happen to be at the helm who found a problem and are the ones who said, okay, we're going to do something about it. Let's get our sisters together to do this with us. That's all it is. Like it is literally a tribe and a sisterhood of women that are helping us bring this message to the world, really.
And you're really touching on something that's happening culturally right now that I think a lot of us are getting the hit and the activation for, which is women are not meant to compete with each other in the sense of tearing
That's
each other
right.
down.
Nope.
We want to get anywhere. It's not by, get out of my way, there's only one seat at the table.
Yeah.
Right.
It's if we rise together and we support one another, everyone benefits from that. So you're being really strong advocates for
Yes.
that energy, and you are making change, and that takes a little time. And I think
Yes.
it also takes time for people to jump on board with a concept that they're not necessarily used to. Have you received pushback from people?
We
by
had
any
failure.
means?
We had failure when
Which
we
we
were
learned
launching
from.
absolutely, and that's not a word I really like to admit, and I can't believe it came out of my mouth.
I'm
but
glad
it's
you
real, and I know that others can relate to it. But we had started biz, when we were doing the first event. That was my baby, because I was meant to put people together and create events where they can connect and all that sort of thing and experience things together. And we had to pivot the week before our event was to launch in March, and had to call all of our sponsors, from Colorado Biz Magazine to the Monster, not Monster, but to Monster Company, in that it's Microsoft, who is a sponsor of ours, Citywide Banks and others, and say, hey guys, we have a great idea. We just need a few more weeks to get people, we didn't say it this way, but really to buy tickets and understand what our message was. And for some reason, those corporations got it. Those corporations understood from the very beginning what we were trying to achieve. The women didn't understand it. And as marketing and public relations specialists, we were still also trying to understand our messaging, because this was something so new. And that's what happens, is when you have a vision and you bring something to fruition, not everybody gets it, even who you are in trying to create something. You just know you have your finger on the pulse of something.
I can relate to that. I have a spiritual wellness company. People are like, "What is that exactly?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "You don't understand. This is the mission. This is what I'm meant
Right.
to do." And over time, people start to buy in, and they start
Right.
to understand where you're coming from. So these were mostly women who were naysayers in the beginning, is what I'm
They
hearing?
weren't necessarily naysayers. They just didn't understand, what, a conference just for women over 40 and 50? What is this all about? What's the difference, basically? Because there's a million women's events in the city, and Lupe and I really tried our hardest to make our audience understand that, no, this is going to be something different. This is going to be something, and I am a spiritual person because I'm a Christian, but this is going to be a spiritual event in that you're going to come together with these really wonderful women. There's going to be no drama involved. We're going to have mimosas in the morning, wine throughout the day. If you want a cocktail, you can go to the bar at the Art Hotel, because it was at the Art Hotel,
Love it.
and grab one. We're doing comedy at the end. We're doing coaches' corners, free for you. You just go buy your one little ticket to this event, and we're providing you all the tools, the resources, the workshops, the information that you need to move forward, or get that job, or define your personal brand, just all of those things. But the message wasn't resonating until they arrived, and until the day that everything happened. And then suddenly, literally, Lupe and I, there was a point in time where we cried in the morning, because we looked at each other and we said a prayer before we left the hotel room and walked downstairs. And then we could not believe that once we pivoted and moved the date, how many women bought tickets the night before.
Oh, wow.
We were sitting at 89 tickets, which is great, but not for us, because we had a bill to pay.
Yes.
But also, we really wanted to impact our goal was 250 women, to impact 250 women. And when we were sitting at 89, it was almost like it was unsuccessful to me. And I don't live by that word. And it was sad, but then we said, you know what? We're going to go out there and have a great event. We're going to enjoy these 89 women. And they started showing up by the droves the next morning. We had to pull chairs into the room, and it was humbling, beautiful, amazing, and tearful.
That sounds like all the right things. Lupe, about how many people ended up being there total?
So we had about 135 women.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just the sponsor participation was just phenomenal. And and I think the challenge really kind of lied in this idea that, culturally speaking, right now, you look at brands, and brands don't speak to us.
Yes.
They kind of put all women together, and it's either the millennial that they're speaking to, or the Gen Z, or it's the boomer. And so to all of a sudden have something specifically tailored to them, women were like, well, we're not ready to receive that. Like, what is this? Like, this is something so different. And so I think once they saw it, they arrived that morning. We had women telling us, I'm calling my girlfriend right now and telling her she's got to get here, because you guys all have a donut wall, and you guys have all this awesome
It's our
thing.
signature now.
And I think to your comment earlier about women supporting women, they saw that from the moment that they stepped foot into this conference. And so we're all about helping women understand that, hey, behind every great woman is another equally amazing woman, and so forth and so forth. And it's our job to, connect women of all ages. So whether it's a millennial, whether it's a Gen Z, whether it's a boomer, regardless, I think every woman has a role to share her knowledge, share her experience, share whatever it is that she has been able to ascertain through her kind of time living on this earth, and share that forward with someone else, because you don't know what you don't know until someone shares that with you.
That is so true.
And what you can then take with that and learn and apply it is a beautiful gift that we all should be sharing every single day of our lives. And so to all of a sudden have that amazing power and energy in one room, I mean, you can imagine it was contagious to just walk into it, and the laughter contagious. And the smiles, and all of a sudden women feeling like seen, heard, and then now connected.
And visible.
It was beautiful.
Yes, and I think that's what is changing the world. That's what will continue to change the world. For so long, women have been told, don't take up space, don't be too loud, don't have a seat at the table. And I think with every generation that passes, it's getting more and more acceptable to feel comfortable with that. You know, you say people in their 40s and 50s are like, I don't quite understand. And then you maybe talk to people in their 20s and they're like, oh, of course I would. So, I mean, it's a gradual shift that's happened. But what's happened to the generations beforehand is that they missed out on just knowing that's true. So what you're doing is actively putting a stake in the ground saying, you belong here, you belong, period.
Yes.
Let's change the world. I'm curious, what did you see happen during that day? I know you said there were lots of tears, but could you see people shift as you were going through the programming? Yeah.
I feel like, yes. I can tell you the shifting, we learned mostly of the shifting that happened in the emails, and more on the social pages that were giving us shout outs, that these women were saying, I'm ready to do my own thing, whether it's startup or pivot a career. They felt powered up. They felt inspired to finally do something, to finally take their idea off the shelf, whether it was for a side hustle that they've always wanted to do because it's a hobby that they believe they could turn into a true side hustle, a job for them. It was amazing. We have women who have started companies because of it. We have women. One woman, Angela Wilson, just entered an accelerator program. She said she saw us at Denver Startup Week, joined our Facebook group page, had an amazing idea, posted it, by the way, to the community page. Everyone gave her a rah, you got to do this. This is a great idea, because she saw a niche, and now she went for it. And she got accepted into an accelerator program, a citywide accelerator program, I believe in Longmont, and couldn't be more excited. And started her classes last week.
You're activating people.
You're activating people.
Yeah.
And that's not something I think imagined would happen. It's kind of what I know we hoped would happen, but we didn't. It wasn't in our plans.
Yeah.
Our plans were initially, now it's about activating and inspiring and getting you to move. But at the time, it was just to provide as much information as we can to get you to live a better life, get that career you wanted. But these women are finding more, and they're finding new friendships.
Like this one right here in front of me.
Yeah, for sure. And
what was since 2010.
I know, girl. I can't believe it's been that long. But I think also too, like what we started to see, when we held our first conference in April, and then we held our second conference in November of last year, is that the experience could be recreated.
Yes.
And it took basically women authentically wanting to show up. So we create the space, but women were the ones that really were the conduits to the energy that really was kind of permeating through the whole event all day long. I mean, it was their willingness to be open about their successes and their challenges in their business. It was their willingness to say, I've got you. If you want this, I know other people. Let me connect you with someone. And so it was this idea that people could come together to finally feel like they're not alone in their pursuit of whatever life holds for them in this next act. And so I think that's where the really magic, whether it's personal, professional, self-development, whatever it might be, however that manifests forward, I think it was this idea, though, that finally I am amongst a sisterhood that is in my same shoes and willing to walk right alongside me versus walk in front of me or walk behind me.
You are landing on a theme that I've seen again and again with my work, with everyone I've interviewed. It's the not alone piece, because we've
Yes.
hidden. There's this thing with shame, right? No one else would understand what I'm going through.
Right.
I've failed, quote unquote, at this. I feel ashamed of this, and that keeps us silent. And when we're silent, no one else knows. Guess what? I'm also going through that. So when you hear that, you're like, I guess my story is also valid. I want to use my voice. And then when they do, more people are activated, and then more people. So this is key. You're providing space for people to have that togetherness.
We're absolutely providing a space. You know, we talked about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
something
it's big.
Lupe had, led a panel session or a session on. We talked mental health. We talked caregiving. There were women, including myself, who came out, so to speak, and said, I'm living with depression.
Yes.
And let's talk about this. This isn't. This shouldn't be shameful.
No.
This shouldn't be that I'm hiding my disease just because I don't know.
Well, we get
It's
messages
just-
from society that we should keep it quiet.
That's right.
You know, healthcare doesn't pay for mental health by and
Right.
large, so we keep getting these signals that say you need to quiet that down.
And I've had way too many friends in their 40s commit suicide by guns, women, and that's rare that women go that way. Women. And that's actually the two women that I were friends with that did commit suicide were suffering. Probably didn't talk to anybody about it, would be my guess, because we didn't know. Well, one woman we did know. But I will say, when that happened, that was the year for me that I decided to go see a doctor. Because I know I would never commit suicide, I will say. It's not on my religion. I can't imagine doing that. I just can't. I mean, life is just too precious, too beautiful. And yes, we're going to have hard times along the way. But man, when you come out on that other side and the sun is, oh yeah, there's so much to live for. But I personally went to a doctor, and that's how I found out that I was living with depression. I never understood this darkness that I had a couple of times a year. And that was powerful for other women to be in the same room and hear, not only from me, but other women admitting the same damn thing.
It's
in tears.
powerful.
Like, I can't even tell. Some people are saying they can't even tell their own families.
But that
It's
was
like,
a safe
wow.
space for them to share.
Safe space.
Exactly. I mean, and at the end of the day, honestly, we are all human.
That's right.
So whether it's at the grade of depression or whether it's like I've just had a really crappy day today and I'm feeling down in the dumps, I mean, we run the gamut of emotions because we're human. And so, but at the end of the day, we should feel comfortable enough to share that versus thinking that we need to go at it alone or that, there's no way out. I mean, this idea that, now we've got a community where women can say, hey, I'm feeling this way, or, I'm going through this. And then to have this group of perfect, beautiful strangers say, I've got you, and send messages of support or resources that they can look into. Or, you had mentioned the other day, Barb, that you had a friend who did a wellness check on you,
Yeah.
And, I mean,
She knew this was my month.
it's all of a sudden,
that's
people know about you, but
Right.
it takes, like, to your comment earlier, vulnerability, willingness to, like, show up,
Yep.
and then willingness to say, I got you,
Yep.
no strings attached, I'm here for you. And that's what we're about, regardless of age. That is what we should be all here on
That's
Earth
right.
trying to do.
And I think you're not only doing that, you're also putting up a mirror to these people, because you might look at them and say, you have everything, you're amazing, look at your incredible life,
Right.
and yet they're stuck in this zone where they can't see any of that. So when someone holds space for them and is able to remind them who they are, even that can change things in an instant. And there's that, and there's also, like you said, the vulnerability, saying you're not alone.
Yeah.
I feel like if more people had spaces like this in their lives, we would have a healthier society.
Oh my
and I think
gosh.
we're
Agreed.
heading that way.
Agreed. Because I'm gonna tell you what. One thing we don't talk about is politics at any of these things.
Uh-huh.
We know what's going on in this
Just
world.
leave that
We don't
out there.
talk about,
Yep.
war, anything.
There's
It is
another
about
space for that.
us. It's about
Yeah.
having fun. It's
It's
about living our
acceptance.
lives and talking about the subjects that matter to us. And yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And I love your comment about the mirror, like putting up a mirror to it. Like,
Yeah.
that was my big thing with imposter syndrome. This idea
Yes.
of, like, I'm 40 something and at my, I'm an ordinary woman. I tell everybody, I'm like, luckily, thank God, I've not gone through major trauma. I have not suffered anything, catastrophic like other, people have. But my conversation or my presentation at our last event was, even within ordinary, you can be extraordinary.
Absolutely.
And you
What you're
can't
doing is
spell
extraordinary.
extraordinary without ordinary,
Ordinary.
right? And so it was this idea that holding this mirror up to people, it gives them the, not permission, but gives them the focus or the lens to see themselves in a way that maybe we see them, like the way that people see me, and I would have never have thought until people actually have the opportunity to share that perspective or share that commentary. Then you're like, okay, I can see that. And then through work of affirmation and meditation, you then start to internalize and reset. But you're so right. I mean, we get stuck in life on autopilot, and before you know it, you're like, you believe what you believe because you're not told differently. Until all of a sudden you create a space and you give someone the permission to say that to you, and you're willing to accept it. But then you start to say, okay, I'm more than the sum of what I thought I was, because we all are. But we oftentimes forget that.
And it sometimes takes another person to see that in us and remind us. So I'm curious, as you are holding space for all of these women, okay, I'm an empath. I take on people's emotions, feelings like in my body, and I have to learn how to have boundaries around that. And I have to learn how to clear that out when I'm done as well, because if you carry that with you, you can't handle your own stuff too. So I'm curious about how you protect your energy, protect your space, your emotions, because knowing me, I would want to be out in the crowd, hug everybody, like, tell me everything, I want to know, I want to help you all. How do you maintain healthy boundaries between what you know is the mission and also, not taking on everyone's stuff?
Well, I believe I'm probably what you just said, because I do, and I want to hear everybody's story, and I want to hear one-on-one if they're going to see, oh my gosh, I want to do nothing but help. And I get that from my mom. It's a part of my DNA, and so it's interesting when you said that. I do take on, I'm the hardest on myself, and I'm also the type of person who does take on other people's. Like, I feel like if I can feel her tension, I can feel it.
That's right.
And I can't let it go until I'm satisfied that she really is happy. And same with, any of my friends in life that come to me, I worry in my head for them, or not even worry, but I want to make sure they're doing okay. I want to do the wealth check on them, because I want to make sure that that they're okay.
Do you find yourself jumping into
help.
the problem and wanting to help from that level, or from being able to step outside of it and help from that level? Because to me, that's been an important distinction.
If they ask for the help, or sometimes if they don't, and I just have an idea, I'll throw it at them.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to even stay focused on work sometimes, because there are times where, we have an office where people come in and talk. And what do? We leave the door open. They come in. We'll talk to them. If they have ideas that they want to share with us, then we'll share back. Next thing you know, a whole hour's gone by because I'm trying to help with them and their marketing, and it's just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, yesterday we had a session. I was thinking not about the work that I needed to do, which we do have a lot of work. We're launching a website. Instead, I'm thinking about what we can provide them in a workshop to make sure that these women walk away powered up and are given the right information. So I'm always concerned and willing and wanting to always help someone else. And then I forego myself. I'm overweight. I have an issue with an artery. I'm on cholesterol meds, and I know that I have these issues, and I don't do anything about it. I'm now eating right and doing things now, but I'm more concerned with other people because I don't want to look inward sometimes.
That's the scary place to go, because then you realize, if it's mine, it's got too much weight attached to it, like emotional weight. If it's someone else, I can see that objectively. And so maybe that's where you turn to your friends and to your community to say, hey, I need maybe.
And I'm not that person that will do that.
Yeah. Well,
it's like she'll.
You and I have created a space, though.
We have.
Where,
yes.
Recently we've had our kind of weekend bouts.
Yes.
Like, man, this is a rough week. And that's the beauty about having an office together.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur of die hard for like 20 some odd years, and I was used to working from home. And even when she and I even when she and I had our former business, it was this idea of like, I like my space. I like my quiet. I don't want to be disturbed.
I'd twist her arm to have her come into the office a couple times.
But now, I to your answer about like, how do you preserve your space? I think our office is one of those spaces where now it's like a safe zone for she and I to just say, hey, you know what, I'm having a crappy day. Tears are shed left and right sometimes in that space. We problem solve each other's like challenges. And so I think that's one space where we definitely save room for each other, because we know we're in the same boat. Like, it's kind of creepy how to what degree we are in it together. Like,
it really is.
In everything, whether it's finances, whether it's like learning, whether it's growing,
our moms,
stumbling,
both of our parents died a day apart. We both lost our father a day apart. It was actually just my dad's passing was January 11th. Hers was the 10th. We buried my dad the 18th, so Saturday would be the 18th, and it's just like, there's a lot of similarities that we have. We both are very close to our moms. Mine is my backbone. Same with her. It's just like,
you're meant to be friends, colleagues.
We are.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
And I think that's
she put up with my craziness.
Vice versa, girl. Vice versa. But I think one of the things that I know I love to do is I love to work out. Like, I work out every morning.
You're good at that.
It's a stress reliever sometimes.
Sometimes
it's a stress giver, trust me. But sometimes it's nice just to release.
But because I think at the end of the day, we were both. This is a gift that I think God gave us to say, hey, this is your, Barb saw it before I did. And hence why she started it. But
she said the word visionary.
I sure did.
Yeah, okay.
Not saying you're not visionary, but...
No. I was giving her a hard time about it the other day.
Because I said that I'm a visionary.
I call myself a visionary, too.
Thank you.
Because I'm like,
are you sure that doesn't
here?
sound too...
And this is why I say no, because it's like we like to live in the clouds, big ideas, and then how do you make it happen? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can figure it out, but that's not where I live normally. So, like, visionaries, you get the vision. You're like, I see this. Oh, I'm so excited about it. I want to talk to you about it. And someone else is like, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
It's not a bad word.
It's not a bad word.
I don't know, maybe, you know what? I guess it's a humble side of me that I'm like, okay, that sounds so ostentatious to me.
That's what she thought. And I'm like, no.
But I guess it's I guess it's how
an idea person.
Yeah,
you can say it that way.
That's really it. It's a big idea person.
You are an idea person.
I'm all about BHAGs.
Yes, me too.
Oh my gosh.
Big, hairy, audacious goals.
That's right.
You who aren't sure.
Because I'm a visionary.
That's right.
Good heavens. Now it goes.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's right, sister.
Bam. That was a fist bump, y'all didn't see. Actually, before we go on, because I want to hear what's coming up with Second Act with Women. I want to hear like what your activities are, how people can get in touch with you.
Yes.
Before we get there, both of you, this is for both of you, what does your dream second act look like? We'll start with you.
This is it. For me.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
But on what scale? What level? How do you...
to the fact that we're a multi-million dollar multimedia company, and we are not leading the charge, but we are with other women in sync, building this, really getting rid of ageism. In the way that we act, the way corporate America treats us. And we're talking men and women, by the way. So just because we're women, talking about women, men are experiencing it. We're just double minorities. And for Lupe and I, we're triple minorities because we're Black and Mexican. So it's one of that. This is my second act. It's more like my third or fourth by now. But this is my second act. There's no doubt. I will go down, and I'll be working on this until my 70s. In this,
spoken like a true
yes,
visionary.
Absolutely. This is it. I found it finally.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that you know that so
I know it
distinctly, and that you're putting all your energy towards
it. It's my purpose.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean it's a mirrored response. Honestly, I think it is also, in addition to that, finally. Learning along the way for myself too. So learning to not just, create the space, but myself fully stepping out of my reservations, my hesitations, my doubts, and making sure that in my second act, as we're creating as we're continuing to push second act forward, I become that example that also women can look at to say, hey, we all start in the same place, or we all have similar starting points, but we can all evolve and continue to grow. And so if we can be those catalysts for women in that way to kind of jumpstart the conversation, but then also just to change it, to have corporations add age, discrimination or age focus to their D&I efforts, have the, have brands start to include more women or men over 40 and 50 in their ads.
Yes.
You know, if we can start to impact and influence how society and culturally currently looks at age, then by all means we have rallied and hit the mark that we envision for this organization.
Yeah, because listen, we don't all need walk-in tubs and adult diapers.
Yes.
Because that's all we're seeing.
That's all you're seeing in your ads.
We are calling
pharmaceuticals.
it. Yes, we have coined another ism, and it's brandism, and they need to stop it. Because I like to dress sexy and cool and funky.
And you do, and you are.
I mean, hello.
Yeah.
And my gray stripe.
Oh, and I love it. You look incredible. And like your passion and energy, and it's like it doesn't match what media says. This is what
it does
this
not.
is
And
like.
all of our women do not match.
Exactly.
I don't care if they come from Boulder, Colorado, to Colorado Springs, to Denver, to New York City, to San Francisco, which, by the way, these women have come out to our event, women from those other locations. We all don't look, finger quotes, like we're supposed to look, I guess. 53 for me is the new 53. I'm not the new 43. I'm not the new 33. 53 is the new 53. 46 for Lupe is the new 46. We're not trying to pretend that we don't that we're not this age, because I love it. I love it. I now get what Oprah meant years ago when she was turning 40 and then she turned 50. And she was saying how she's walking into this independence, this feeling like she's really come into her own, and this feeling of not really caring what other people think of her. This feeling of confidence and also yet the feeling of, again, still wanting to learn more.
It's just a presence.
It's crazy, this feeling that it's beautiful.
And it's contagious. I mean, I will say, I know someone who met you before I did, and she said, I saw her at this event. I was like, I have to know her. I followed her. I found her. I met her. I want to know everything about her. The presence is resonating, so it's like, know that it's not just like, you're not just giving lip service to who you want to be. You are. And because you
You're
are.
going to make my lashes fill off.
Luckily, there's a bathroom here.
I got an event to go to. These lashes that may be cried off. Thank you.
You're so well done, and it's so deserved, because you both are putting in the work and the effort. So tell me, what's up next for Second Act?
Oh,
where to start? Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
so we are we applied, and we want a spot at South by Southwest.
Okay, we've got to celebrate
We're Austin in March.
This is incredible.
Yes, it's incredible. We are so excited. We are leading a meetup session at the opening weekend at the Fairmont Hotel in Austin, Texas. If you don't know what South by Southwest is, Google it. We're talking
big deal.
It's a big stage.
It's a global, it's the Sundance Film Festival to global tech, community, art,
music,
film, just
Your
all of that.
exposure is going to be intense.
It's
Amazing.
crazy. We are so excited. So we are excited to do that. We also launch our Insiders Club Membership Association.
Great.
Officially, we have beta tested over the last 2 months, and we have 60 founding members. We're looking to hit our 500 founding members and then some. And so we launched that on Friday.
Yes.
And
then we are launching a concerted series now of different workshops every month. You can get in contact and kind of track our offerings on our website at secondactwomen.com.
New website coming.
Yes.
The time this airs, it probably will be up.
We'll be writing tracks for the corporate woman who's wanting to kind of move laterally or grow within her organization, for the entrepreneur who's looking to start up. We're also going to be hosting social gatherings to kind of create connection and camaraderie amongst our women. Obviously, we'll also be hosting our 2 major Biz Life Cons coming up on June 12th at Infinity Park. And then in November, we're currently looking for a site in case anyone, one of your listeners might know. But we'll be hosting another one here in Denver at the end of the year as well too.
And we plan on applying for Denver Startup Week again.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. We were so blessed to win a spot there too, which, by the way, we are big into goal setting and vision boarding. I am, and then I'm pushing it off onto her.
There's some positivity there.
Right? It's just crazy how things have kept falling into. I've always wanted to be at Denver Startup Week. I remember sitting there, being a part of some of the sessions and going, one day that's going to be me. Now, I didn't know what it would be, what I would be leading, but then this came up, and sure enough, we won a spot. And then our hope is to do it again. And it was the first time Denver Startup Week, which is the largest free entrepreneurial event in the world, 20,000 people strong. We were the only, we were
first.
We were listed as a popular session to take and it was the first time they ever had a session for women over 40 and 50, and it was beautiful.
Breaking down barriers.
And we have so much more. We wish that we could share with your audience, but we'll share it with you off track.
Share it with me, and also they'll have your website so they can follow you. They can follow you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
So much, yes.
Get connected, everyone. Find out, how you can get involved, because this is like a rocket ship. You are taking off, and just staying the course as you are. It's just it provides me inspiration too, because I feel like I'm on a really similar track, and sometimes it's easy to say, I don't know, I'm not seeing these tangible results right away.
Yeah.
But then the people I talk to, and oh, I read your book, or I heard your talk, and I suddenly I know what I'm doing now. Thank you.
Yes.
And that is how you're touching on something that needs to be said. So keep saying it.
Oh, thank you.
Good point. Thank you
Fabulous.
very
Pleasure
much.
to
You have
you
no
on the
plan
show.
to stop. So.
Good.
No plan.
I won't let
My
you.
butt's getting in the gym so I can live long.
Amen. Yes.
I love that vision for you.
Of course you do.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Lighthouse Conversations. If this show resonates with you, it would mean so much to have you rate, review, and share. Don't forget to follow us at chellycanales.com and on social media.